So that was the beautiful song from Anna Goldsmith, Here Tomorrow, on Film Focus with Real Vision. And joining us this week from Leeds in the UK with 4 films produced, written and directed in 3 years, my special guest this week is filmmaker Danny Lacey. Thank you for joining us, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I'm very good. And you? How are you doing?
Fantastic. It only seems like a few hours ago that I was with you.
Yes. I'm thinking I might need to kind of expand on that a little bit. So yeah, we were shooting a film and you were helping out in so many different ways on the set, which we were very grateful for, by the way.
So this was part of Amy's Choice that we worked together on?
It was, yeah, 4-day shoot that we just wrapped on earlier this morning, in fact.
And what was your role within this shoot?
I was brought across to be first assistant director, otherwise known as first AD. My job basically is to keep the machine going through the film set, so make sure that everything's happening at the right time, that people are moving along. As soon as you take your foot off the pedal, the whole thing comes to a standstill almost.
It collapses.
It does. So there needs to be somebody on set who's moving people forward. It's usually the person that people like the least is the first AD, because the first AD is the person going around doing all the shouting, pushing, moving people around. It's not a great job to do, but it's an essential.
Imperative, yes.
Imperative's a good word, yes.
It is. There would be no film produced on set if there was no first AD there.
Without the first AD, you'd probably find most of the crew sat in the canteen drinking cups of coffee.
I think that's very true. But what's interesting about you, Danny, is you actually, unlike a lot of people who know that they want to go into film production from a very early age, I mean, I think I was 15 when I knew that, you actually decided quite late in life, and in fact, it was 2009 that you first got interested.
Yeah, it was. I got into my 30s, I think it was. I'm not going to reveal my age right now. But yeah, so I got into my 30s, and I'd always wanted to make films. Even when I was a young lad, I'd write stories and draw pictures and all that, but I never really took it up as a career until I got into my 30s. And it was then that I decided that I really wanted to give this film career a go. And so yeah, I literally bought a camera, bought loads of DVDs, books, read up on filmmaking, pestered people in the business, and learned how to become and still learning, how to be a filmmaker.
And you're doing very well about it because people actually follow your journey, and that's what's very interesting about modern day filmmaking, is you have all of these resources to hand to inspire people, share your journey and get other people on board. How have you utilised modern day technology in that way? Because you're quite good at that, aren't you?
I guess so. I'm kind of picking it up as I'm going along. The idea was when I started back in 2009. I'd made the decision that I was going to share everything that I was going to go through, in the hope that it inspires other filmmakers in a similar position to me. Because when I was looking around at the time, there was a few books, a few DVDs and some bits and bobs online, but there wasn't really much more than that. So I decided if I could find somebody like me who's going through a similar thing and sharing everything, literally hanging out one's dirty laundry, so everything that I was going through. It's very
brave what you do, I think, as a filmmaker.
It is. You kind of opening yourself up to all sorts of criticism in certain areas, but mainly, positive. And it's inspired a lot of like-minded filmmakers. I've got quite a few followers on Twitter. You're talking about the whole social media thing. So we've got Twitter, and we've got the website, which gets quite a lot of hits. We've got loads of views on YouTube and Vimeo. And so the whole internet social media thing has been a huge aspect of what I'm doing. In fact, without social media, Twitter and the like, I wouldn't have made any of my films to date.
It's very impressive the way you use it, and you do have a massive following on there, which is a complete tribute to you. You joined us for the film festival about 2 months ago, didn't you, Danny?
I did, yes. I was invited over to screen two of my films during the film festival. I also know the guys that were organising the film festival. I've been long-time friends with those guys, and Manning Shorts, of course, as you'll know. And I had a few friends that were having films screened also in the film festival. So yeah, I came over and I was talking about the films and the background behind the films, as well as watching loads of other films, which was quite nice as well. You
dished out a few awards, didn't you, as well?
I did dish out a few awards. Were you a recipient of one of the awards? What was that for?
It was the Scene Sealer, The Graduate.
Which was good, by the way. I was really impressed with that. I like what you guys did with that. It's really interesting. Great way to learn how to film. In fact, anybody listening who's into the whole filmmaking process and really wants to learn how to do it, pick a film, pick your favourite scene out of the film, grab an iPhone, grab a camera, whatever you've got, and try and go out with your mates and try and film those things, because you learn so much from doing that.
Well, actually, that's what I was going to ask you. What is your top tip for people wanting to get involved in filmmaking and the writing, directing side of things? If they're like you, always when they were younger, writing stories and enjoying going to the cinema, what would you suggest they do?
Well, first of all, that would be one of the tips that I would give, is just watch a lot of films, watch and learn. Watch as many making of films. I have watched years worth of behind the scenes making of videos. You learn so much from watching the professionals at it. Get involved with film sets. If there's a film on the island, or if you've got friends shooting a film, get involved, get on in the film set and work out how things happen, the protocol on set and everything. But just getting out there and doing it is probably the best way for me. I didn't go to film school, so I didn't have the luxury of having big expensive cameras and teachers showing me how to. I had to go out there and learn it. It is possible to do it. You don't be thinking, oh, we've not got any film schools, we can't go. You can do it. So just get out there and film. And the biggest advice I would give is get in touch with people in the business, writers, directors, producers. Email them, get in touch, let them know what you want to do with your film career, and ask them for advice and build a friendship up.
And for the people on the Isle of Man, I know we've bang on about Man in Shorts a lot, but Man in Shorts is a great opportunity, that filmmaking scheme that's run here.
Yeah, I can't stress this. I wish I had something like this close to where I live. We don't. So you guys on the island have this amazing setup known as the Man in Shorts, and two people behind the Man in Shorts who are doing an amazing job.
Dave and Christy.
And it is a fabulous opportunity. And if you're into, even if you hadn't thought about filmmaking as a career choice, and acting, it's not just filmmaking as well, it's not just directing and producing, it's the acting side of it as well, which is a very interesting aspect of filmmaking. And if you've kind of been curious about the whole thing, get involved, just go along, see what the guys do, and see if it tickles your fancy, as they say.
What the Man in Shorts project does is it allows people to take on several different roles within a film crew. And other than doing the behind the scenes video, I actually, on the second day of shooting, which was Tuesday, took on the role of second AD. So Danny, can you explain a bit about the role of the second AD? Okay,
so what was happening? We had quite a small crew on this film shoot. And you'll find that with certain projects, it depends on what the budget is and what the setup is. So we had quite a small crew. And it was a mixture of professionals, experienced professionals, and not so experienced people working on set. And so what happened? You were filming behind the scenes, and I needed somebody to help in my role as first assistant director, because I can't be everywhere on set, although I'd like to be. So the idea behind the second assistant director is to help the first assistant director out, to relay messages to people in the green rooms or the cafeteria area or wherever it might be. If I need something to happen quickly and I haven't got radio communications in place, the second AD would usually jump in and help out with that. And that's what you were doing. You were doing a very good job, by the way.
It was a great experience, and likewise, if anybody wants to get involved in Man in Shorts, it presents these opportunities to take on different roles that you wouldn't normally maybe take on, and learn about those roles, and therefore you end up getting an overall picture of what a film crew does.
Yes, and I think it's really important to learn every aspect of filmmaking as well.
I absolutely agree. That's one thing that I set out to do, was to know what each other person's job is, and that will allow you to do your job even better.
Absolutely.
Well, Danny, thank you so much for joining us today on Film Focus with Real Vision. And no doubt we'll see you on the island in the near future, and good luck with all your projects.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Round of applause for Danny Lacey. Woo! Quite like a round of applause. We haven't cheered any of our guests before, but that was kind of nice.
Yes.
Lovely to speak to him, and you've been working literally in each other's pockets the last however many days. Will you miss him when he goes?
I will, because he's leaving today.
Oh.
And we've been working very closely for 4 days, doing at least 12 hours a day together, probably.
And what have you got planned for the future, you two? Will you be working on projects together then?
I imagine so, because of Danny's links with the Isle of Man. Like he was saying, we work very closely as a very tight-knit crew. And when you do that in each other's pockets for 4 or 5 days intensely, you actually build very strong bonds very quickly, which is another benefit of filmmaking, is the collaboration and the relationships you develop in a professional environment.
Makes me want to get involved.
I think you should come.
Can I come and be a runner?
I'm sure you could come down and try your hand at anything. In fact, you actually have experience in all kinds of media.
I did a little bit at university, so I could maybe bring something to the table. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. I really enjoy hearing these interviews, Emily. We've had some lovely feedback. But talking about the sort of stuff that you and I do together, we do our Saturday Night Live sessions. We invite local artists up to come and showcase themselves, and you very kindly film the tracks for us.
Yes.
Who are we going to replay this week?
Well, this week I'm picking somebody who's actually on a bit of a mission right now. Catherine Crowe, a Manx singer-songwriter, is trying to get her song to #1, and I hope and think the Isle of Man is very much behind her. There's been a lot about her in the media, and Danny, who was our guest a minute ago, actually did an interview with her, which is online as well. She's battling cancer, and she went to Abbey Road Studios a couple of weeks ago and produced a song called Smile.
It's Charlie Chaplin's Smile, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's her version of it, and it's absolutely beautiful. It was
is.
out yesterday. I don't know about you, but I think that we should maybe do a session replay with a difference. Remember the Edge of Glory track she did for us, and also she did the beautiful track Standing Here, which was her own. But what do you think about actually playing the track that she's trying to get to #1?
I think that would be a very good idea, and I think we should urge everybody out there to go onto iTunes and go and purchase it. It won't cost very much money at all, and if we could get a really big effort behind her, wouldn't it be amazing to have get her to #1 this Christmas?
It would be absolutely fantastic. So go and get your copy of her single Smile. It was out yesterday, but we're going to play it for you now. This is Kath Crowe on Saturday Night Live and Smile. Thanks very much, Emily. See you next week.